What's up, guys? This is Raylan on Arche Age, the new MMO coming to the United States later this year. And today we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of the leveling system. Now, they said that the leveling system is just like Guild Wars 2, where you can sit and log, or mine, or craft, or do anything, and you can get to level 50. And the three classes that you pick at level 10, or from level 1 to level 10, um, they get leveled right alongside that, which means you could go 10 Witchcrafter, level 10 Shadow Player, level 10 Battle Rager, to 50 in, well, I would say like a month of just gathering and crafting. But you never have to unlock any of these abilities because you're not going out there and attacking everything. So they sit here and they just kind of pile up until level 50 when you decide, okay, max level, I can't unlock anything anymore. I'm going to start actually playing the offensive side of the game. You know, PvP. I'm going to start attacking mobs. I'm going to start doing some action quests. That makes no sense to me because how does that make any sense in real life? If my discipline in real life was a farmer and I did that until I was like 50 years old, I wouldn't just pick up a battle axe, go into town, buy some gear, strap it on, and then know everything about martial arts, about shadow play, about, sorcery and stuff like that. That doesn't work in the real world. Why would it work in this world? If that's the way they're going to make this game, where you have to literally walk and with a pack on your back, or summon your donkey with a pack on your back and just walk around and do all this hard stuff, why is leveling so easy to get? I mean, I know that it's part of the game. It's not the game. It's part of the game. But getting to level 50 by just, going back and forth to mining nodes for days and days and weeks to get to level 50, and then go into town and buy some level 50 gear, like some just like basic PvP gear, and then go out and just stomp on people that also have just gotten to level 50, but they might have like better gear because of dungeons or whatever. But this is an action combat game, which means you have to get close and use your abilities. Or if you're an archer, you're sitting back and just hammering away. But it makes no sense. Like I said, if my discipline was to gather grapes my entire life, and then when I got to the point where I have enough money for anything, I go into town and I buy a bunch of gear, and now all of a sudden I have all these skills that I can apply and put them on my hotbar and go get some swords and bows, and then go out and have naval combat battles and do shit. That makes no sense to me. Why is that even in MMOs? I mean, why are you even leveling up? How are you gaining proficiency as well as levels? I mean, proficiencies, I understand. It should be just tethered to proficiencies, not your actual level. Because that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. I have 1700 mining proficiency, and this 1700 basically translates into about a level and a half to 2 levels of my 25 here. Now that's with cooking and gathering and metalwork and masonry and all that kind of stuff. So take away all of this. Take away the 3, the 100, the 110, the 1700, 409, 60, take away all of it. I'd be back down to probably level 22. Now those 3 levels are just pure crafting and gathering and creating things. And I have level 25 gear now. I can wear level 25 gear because my character's level 25, but I literally didn't do anything to get to level 25. The game just shouldn't work this way. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to, I hope, a lot of you guys. But hey, you know what? If you like it, if you just want to get to level 50 so that you can, I mean, what's the purpose though? Honestly, the proficiency goes up by itself, and you decide when you want to go farther. It has nothing to do with your level at all. So why would it be in this game? If this game is supposed to be about crafting and, I mean, if it was nighttime, you would see, this isn't Earth, by the way. We're not on Earth. you see a sun, but at nighttime you see like different planets and stuff, and there's sorcery in this game too. So it's like a sci-fi age of weirdness, and with a bunch of walking around with trade packs on your back. So that's one of the cons. That's just one of the cons. The other thing about level 50 is the combat. Now, I really don't like that there are specific classes already for um, those specific PvP versus arenas. Okay, what I mean by that is out of the 120 available ways of doing things, there's only about 7 or 8 classes that are going to be used in PvP, and most of them are paired with Archer and Shadowplay here because of the dash abilities. Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, if this guy was my opponent, and I was sitting right here, and I had full leather gear, which increases my range of my bow attacks by 2 meters, just sit here and pelt on this guy with endless arrows and a bunch of other crap that the Archer has. I mean, this ability, Endless Arrows, isn't even an Archer ability. I do believe it's one of these abilities. Maybe they even took it out. This is the new build, by the way, and I haven't touched it yet. So I think Endless Arrows was taken out. That's fine. But there are other arrow abilities within other classes that aren't the Archer. So sit from afar and just pelt away at this guy. And if he's a Battle Ranger, or something that he can't really get to me in one leap or two, I'm pretty much taking half his life away before he even gets close to me. And that's just one skill out of the 120 classes or 120 options that you can do here. That's just one of the combats. That's just one of the classes, and it makes no sense to me. Don't like it. Don't like that Archer's in this game. I would have preferred that this game stay completely melee combat. Maybe with some short range. Maybe this is about 10 meters right here. So 10 meters in a whole square. I think that's even pushing it. But I would prefer this game to just stay with swords and shields. Not witchcraft, not shadowplay, not any of those. It just makes no sense to me that they would put magic in this game. So that's another con. I just don't really feel like that should be part of Arche Age, because the Arche Age to me feels like a very RuneScape-ish, Minecraft-ish Final Fantasy. Because you're crafting things and then you're moving those things and you're building your house and you have a scarecrow plot and you're building your trees. You're letting your trees grow. You're watching your trees and then you're harvesting your trees and all that good stuff. And I see nothing here that has to do with sci-fi or any kind of alien technology crafting abilities here. It's not a sci-fi MMO, but you have planets in the skies that aren't. They're not Mars. They're not Venus. They're not ours. So we're not on Earth. So it's not sci-fi, but you have these weird proficiencies that have nothing to do with sorcery or magic. I mean, I feel like they just kind of threw in witchcraft and all those other sorcery-looking magic abilities for no reason. I can't see them being useful in PvP at all, because a lot of them are cast time abilities. You gotta sit there for a second and move your hands around and do an animation, and then some of them have like little telegraphs on the ground where you can direct where they go, and that's fine. They do some damage. They also have a huge cooldown. So I mean, the game should just take away some of the unnecessary classes, witchcraft being one of them. Really, they should just take away a lot of stuff, because I can't see. This game has got my attention for 2 weeks now. I've completely put WildStar on hold. I bought into the $49. I got access, but I just don't feel like it's there for me. At least on lands. Now, naval combat, totally different thing. I will fucking build my own ship and sell it or ride it around the world and have get a guild together and get a guild castle and all that good stuff. But as far as like land combat and melee versus ranged, heavily weight on the range, especially Archer. Everybody's gonna roll Archer. Um, but that's what I don't like about PvP, and those are some of the cons. The other thing that I noticed in Alpha, and this is just because there's only one server right now, and it is both Alpha and Omega, but people aren't going to the Omega server right now. They're just kind of waiting to see the land rush. But that's another con of this game, is the land is super small. I mean, it's around the castle, sure, but there's only, there's boxed areas where you can zone and put something down. They're not all the way around the castle. They should be over here and over here and over here and over here and over here. They're just not in the places where you want them to be. They're in pre-designated spots, and you have to put your scarecrow garden or your house in a pre-designated spot, which is pretty dumb because you have like 50 farms that are here to there, and for one, it's a maze to get through. I mean, sure, you can see your farm on the map here, but if there's 50 farms in front of it, it's gonna be a maze to get to it. And your scarecrow, highlights orange, but you can't just run in a straight line through trees. And trust me, there are a lot of people that are trying to farm trees right now because they're just non-existent. They don't open up in the real world like a tree should. They just don't. And if you try and plant trees in the open world, somebody will come along and just take it. They will just uproot it. Doesn't matter if it helps them out or not. They'll just take it because it's free for them, and they get experience points from it. And they can use those experience points to level up and kick your ass in PvP. But that's all skill-based, anyways. And I don't like that a lot of the scarecrows aren't perfectly matched up with each other. Like, you'll have a box here, and then a box here, and then somebody will just, casually go 3 meters out and put their scarecrow garden, leaving a 3-meter gap where you could have, or where you could save some space, because at the end of the line you have like 7 meters of space that don't quite fit a 8x8 garden. So you're sitting there going face palm because people don't know how to plant stuff. They don't know how to put stuff down, I should say. And it's just a total waste of time to try and find a 16x16 land here, because all of them are pretty much taken, and the taxes aren't too bad. I mean, you gotta pay taxes, which are fine. But you have to rely on other people to put in a perfect square next to a perfect square next to a perfect square. And I know that's hard for some of you that have a very, very low working brain. Oh wait, there's a square here. Let's put it over here. Let's make no sense of this pattern whatsoever. So it's just dumb. I just don't like it. And that's how the game is going to work, though. Apparently and honestly, the one thing that they're weighing on this game is the economy. But in order to do a lot of the stuff in the game, like plant a house or put a garden down and put a house down, and put a bigger garden down, it's heavily relying on people to pay into the game in order to put those trees in there safely, and then grow those trees over 5 or 10 or 11 hours, and then log those trees, and then decide, okay, is this going to be more to me, or is this going to be more to the economy? If I put it in the auction house and somebody buys it and uses it, it's perfectly fine either way you look at it, but the game is going to force people to buy into the game so that the economy can work. Now, if they don't, if nobody buys into the game and everybody just goes around and you see no scarecrow gardens and you don't want to pay the 15 or whatever it is a month, and you start going out here and start planting random trees next to already trees, it's going to be a hellfest. No one is going to have any safeguard when it comes to planting a lot of things, like seed bundles. Seed bundles are kind of expensive, and they do yield some bait worms among the seeds and themselves. Like a potato seed was going to grow a potato, obviously. So if you just grow it out in the open here and you don't pay into the game, and someone can just come along and uproot it, get some XP, and then kick your ass from PvP. So it's just not working for me. It's I mean, like I said, it is perfect. It's the gliding system is really fun. I mean, when you get the green one, the light one, what is this? The light ultra light glider. That's pretty cool. This thing goes fast and it's fun and it's much better than the crappy one you get at start. But just the land rush is going to be crazy, and the room that you're going to have at launch is going to be the most room that you'll ever have on this game ever. So the most important thing to do is to get many ults so that you have at least a couple of 8x8s along with a 16x16 spread across all four of your characters that you can have on one server. So that's going to be the smartest thing to do, because you don't want 16x16x16x16x16x16 because then you're raking in a ton of taxes. And unless you're raking it in literally, you really can't pay all that stuff off. You have to demolish it and then re-put it up. So that's one of those cons with the sandbox MMOs, because making people play the game and pay for the sandbox MMO is just going to be a nightmare. And I can see a lot of people aren't going to pay for it because they just don't see the purpose of doing it. Now, here's on the flip side of that. If everybody buys into it and everybody starts putting down 16x16 and 8x8, you still have to rely on them to put them next to each other, not to put them all scattered across the area and leave 2-foot, 2-meter gaps, 3-meter gaps between them, making somebody eventually very unhappy. But that's based on the honor system from the people, not to screw over the other people. And like I said, if everybody buys into the game, you're not going to see a whole lot of land up there for use. Yeah. I mean, you'll have so many places on your continent to put a house. And this continent doesn't belong to me, and I'm not going to go over there and put a house down, and I'm not going to go over here and put a house down. And there are secret areas, secret islands that you can go to and put a house down. But people that have played beta for months know where those places are, and as soon as they can, they're going to get out there and get those spots. And those people are called beaters. Cheaters / beta user beaters. If you ever watched Sword Art Online, kind of like that. That guy's a beater. He knows what he's doing. He took off and he did his own stuff so he can get ahead of everybody else. And that's what everybody does in every MMO that comes out. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got. Once again, this has been not first impressions, but a review on the pros and cons, mostly cons, just cons actually, of the game. I'm going to cover the pros in a different video, and I thank you for watching.